Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to customize your WooCommerce checkout page from this to this. For this particular tutorial, we are not going to be making use of any plugin or any pro tools. With a free version of Elementor, we are going to be customizing this particular checkout page. Without further ado, let's go straight into the tutorial. Hello everyone, this is Kingsley from Bless Channel. In case you're just joining me for the first time, please ensure you click on the subscribe button and don't forget to always click on the notification bell so that you get notified each time I upload new video, or so that you be the first to be notified whenever I upload new videos. Alright, we are going to proceed to pages where we have, I'm going to go to all pages. And one thing you should note with this particular tutorial now, this tutorial is going to work even when you're using the free version of Elementor. So even the free version of Elementor, for this particular tutorial you don't need the pro version, but if you case you need the pro version of Elementor, you can check in the description box below and I will drop a link to where you can purchase your Elementor Pro. But and one thing you should know, if you use my own link to purchase the Elementor, you are not going to incur any additional charge. I'll just be compensated for referring you to their products. From here now, we are going to now go to where we have our checkout. You can see I'm going to click on edit, and I'm going to I actually click on hold down control key while clicking on it, so that it's going to open a new tab. Okay, this is it. You can see it with the default short code for WooCommerce. You can see the default short code for WooCommerce is already there. From here, I'm going to now click on edit on with Elementor. I'm actually done with this. I can click on edit with Elementor. So once I click on edit with Elementor, it's going to proceed and take me to the my Elementor page builder, where I'm going to continue with editing this particular page. Now you can see this is how, from that short code, it actually pulled out my checkout and brought it here. So now what we are going to now do is to click on, I can decide to click on this. You can see we have edit style here. So now what I'm going to do, let me first of all, I need to add the heading, a heading to this. But before that, remember I'm having this checkout here. I need to remove this heading. So now I'm going to now come to where we have here and come to page layout. I'm going First of all, I'm going to click on hide title. Then on the page layout, I'm going to make it default Elementor full width. So once I do that, I click on update. You can now see, once I choose default full width, this is how it is. So we have the header and this. So now what I'm going to now do is to click on this particular section, and we have another section at the top here. So now I can decide to click on this, but I will just click on this particular side and bring in a one header here. So I'm going to now click on this side and bring in, from here I'll come here and bring in my title. I'm going to bring in my title. Yeah, so now I'll now click on this particular side and give this a color, a background color. You are going to give it a particular color for the background, so it might be any color you want. So from now I'm going to just make use of something bluish in nature, so I'm going to just pick any color from here. Let me see, I'm going to pick a darker shade of this. You can see my text is no longer showing, so I'm going to now click from here. I will come over here. You can see when I stretch this actually ending at this particular point. So actually need it to stretch to the end. So I'm going to now click on it and make this full width, or I can let me just make it full width and make this stretch. You can see how actually stretched to be. But now I don't like the fact, if you let me change the color of this text so that you see what I'm actually talking about. Now you can see by the time I make it, I don't like the fact that my text is coming getting to the end of the text of the box. So I'm going to now adjust this. I'm going to click on this. Instead of full width, I'm going to change it to box and make it 1200. You can now see by the time I adjust this particular side, it's no longer starting from the edge. So now I'm going to now click on this particular one side again and come to where I have my minimum height, and I'm going to make it minimum height. That's on the height. I'm going to make this minimum height and make this. You can see by the time I do, this is what I now have. So I can now 400 is what I'm having here. I'm going to leave it as default, the way I the 400 like this. I'm going to leave it that way. So now I'm going to now click on this particular one and now change my title. I can now make it checkout now. Can I give it the checkout? Can I give it the checkout? So can I come here? Now let me change my font size. My font, I can decide to use any font for this. Will actually take effect, and you can decide to choose any font you want to use for your design. So you can decide to choose any font you want to use. So you can see I selected this particular font, and you can see it's just as if it's not responding, or it's not changing. This is because of I am not actually connected. You can see from here I am not actually connected as at when I am recording this particular video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect online so that you are going to see how this particular section will look like. So before I connect, let me just quickly go down. But I'm going to still show you how when I'll get connected. I'm going to show you. You are going to see the preview of what we are having the text here. So before that, I'm going to now come to this side and also make this particular side. I'm going to make it box and also make it 1200. So I'm going to now click on this side and make it stretch. Now on this particular side, I'm going to give it a padding. I'm going to make it like 50 all through the padding, so it comes, you can see when I have it coming from this particular side down to this side. You might decide not to, that you don't really want it to stretch to the end of it, and so you can just make, let's reduce, unlink this and make this particular side, or let me just make it from here. I can click on this particular side and come to where I have it now. Maybe reduce this particular one to 1000. So by the time I do that, you can see it actually come much more. It's much more closer to this particular side. So it's left for you how you want it to look like. But I think to me the 1200, or better still, let me make it just 1100 of it. So you can now see I think I'm okay with it this way, so that it doesn't go becomes too large and doesn't becomes too small. So you can see how my page is now looking. So the beauty of the work is actually coming out now. Let me try and reduce this, the minimum height, a little to maybe something like 350. So okay, I think this is much more better. So now from here you can add anything you want to add to this particular side view of your work. So from here, let me just click on this now. I'm actually on this now. Let me click on this and now go ahead. You can now adjust you can try and play with the text how you want it to look like. That's the from the body. You can decide to make the body of the text, and I'm using mustard. Let me make use of monstrat for the body of the text. You can see how it's taking effect. You can see it's now bringing out much more beauty. There's some much more beauty to the text now. So you can decide to change the color of the text, how you want it to look like. So I can make, I want mine to be darker black, so you can just make this the way you want it to be. Then on the box shadow entirely, in this particular box, you can decide to give it some kind of padding. You can see on the border, I mean some kind of this. I'm going to add something like a box shadow to it. You can see I'm having something like this. So I'm going to now adjust this a little. So now I'm going to make it something like, on the box shadow, I'm going to make it a little bit low. I'm going to reduce, let me make it 15, let me increase, or better still, let me make it 20. I'm going to make it 20. Then on the radius, I'm going to make, on the radius, I'm going to make it something like 20. That's what you can see. This actually took effect on that of the border. But now on the main background of the, now I'm going to border, you can see by the time, this is how it actually looks like. So you can play along with this. So I don't actually need that, but so I'm actually removing it. So you can now come to where I have on the, let's see, on, let me see the background. You can decide to change the background to whatsoever you want. You can see, you can decide to change the background to whatsoever you want. So you can decide to change the color to whatsoever color that suits you. So now I can now come here. I'm going to now go back to the border, and don't really need, I don't think I need this particular side. So I'm going to, you can see this is what I have. So now I can just adjust this particular side. Let me add some little padding at the inside of it. So I'm going to make it, let me see, something like 40, so that it doesn't become too close to the wall of this particular side. So I'm going to make it, let me say 30. I think 30 is still too small, so let me make it 50. Let's see. By the time I make it 50, this is how you can see I have much more space at this particular top. I can see the radius I actually added is actually taking effect. So I can now come to where I have this particular side and see on the border. Now you can see the border radius I actually added is actually displaying. So I can come to where, now I've added the border again. You can see what I now have. So actually make this so that you'll be able to see what we are having. So now I can now come here. I think I'm from here now, it's the thickness of the is too much, so I can come to this particular side on the box shadow and reduce the strength of the shadow. So I can now reduce the strength of the shadow and make it a little bit more low. So you can now see this is what we now have. So you can see how we've been able. So in this side I need to do, I don't like the background color a little more, so I'm going to bring it a little bit to this direction. So you can just play with yours the way you want it to be. But I think for now, this is, you can see how we've been able to transform our checkout page. So now this is now, I think this is now looking much more better and cleaner to compare to the normal default WordPress checkout page. So yes, remember I said we were going to use free, just free tools for this particular design. So now maybe in the next video I'm going to be showing you another way you are going to be using a pro, maybe when you have your Elementor Pro, how you can use your Elementor Pro to actually make, go ahead and make this your design much more beautiful than this. But for this tutorial, since I said this, we are going to be making use of free tools, which is our normal Elementor Pro. I think this is where I'm going to stop for this tutorial. But let me not forget, I actually said I'm going to show you the preview of this particular work. So let me connect my internet connection and then show you how it looks like. So as you can see, I'm actually connected right now. I'm actually connected right now. So I'm connected and I'm going to now click on this now. If I should click on this and try to, let's say, change the font now, you're going to see it's going to take in effect. Let me say I now change this to something else. So let me change this to maybe to something like this. You can see it's now taking effect. So now I'll return it back to the figure and see. Now let's make do it something like 20, let me say 45. So let me click on update. Let's so that you see what I'm actually talking about. So when I click on update, okay, it's updated right now. So now I'm going to now go to my store and click on this and go to checkout. So now let's see how my checkout page is now looking. So my checkout page, you see that it's going to transform from the regular WordPress checkout to, you can see this is what we were having before. You can see this was the old what we're actually having for our checkout page. So now let me now refresh this. Let me show you. Let me show you the preview of this particular page, how it's going to look like, and I'm going to show you how to make it active here. So you can see this is the preview. When I click on preview, this is how our preview of our checkout page, this is how it is. So you can now see how we've been able, you can see with the fonts is actually took effect on the side. You can see the fonts are actually used. So you can see how I've been able to transform my checkout page to this particular design. So you can see everything is now looking very beautiful. Now if you check from here, it's not, when we do go to proceed to checkout, it's not still displaying the particular. If you are having this issue with me, the same thing with me, so you are going, you can see it's not still displaying the checkout we just designed. It's showing another checkout. This is because I actually worked on the wrong, I purposely worked on the wrong checkout page, because in some cases you might be having two checkout pages and you fail to actually work edit the right one. But if you actually edited the right one, you should be having yours displayed already. But in case you're having the same issue, you can see I actually worked on the wrong. You can see this is the checkout I actually used. Meanwhile, I have another checkout here. So now how are you going to fix this error? So now this is, now I'm going to now click on this particular one. There's something I want you to take note. If I should click on edit this page, now if I should click back on this place, you're going to see something like post ID. You're going to see post ID, post number 12. So you can see I'm going to copy this ID number 12. So now you can see this other one, if I should open it, is different ID. This one is having a different ID. You can see this one is ID number 12. You can see on this is having ID number 4, mean 10108. So now let's now go, take note this ID number 12. I'm going to now go to my dashboard and go to WooCommerce, then settings. So I'll show you how to set that particular page to actually display on your page in case you're having this kind of error that I'm actually experiencing. That error actually came up because I have another plugin, the cat flow, installed on my website. So I'm going to, in another video, I'm going to show you how to make use of cat flow. So I'm going to now come to advanced. Once I click on come here, I'm going to click on advanced. I think it's opening. Then you are going to see now on my, if you check the ID, if you should check the ID I'm having here on my, you can see I'm having checkout with the ID 10, which is this particular 1080, this which is this particular one, and this is the one we actually worked on. So now I'm going to change that ID, this one, to the one check with the post ID, this. can see with the post ID 12. I'm going to just search for that one with the post ID 12 and click on it. So once I do that, I'm going to now come to where I have this particular site and click on save changes. Once I do click on that save changes, everything is going to take effect. So by the time I refresh my checkout page again, go back to my checkout page, you're going to see a different thing entirely. So I'm just waiting for it to actually save. No, now it has been saved. So now once I go back to, let me go back and now click on, after I go back, I'm going to now click on proceed to checkout. So you see how it looks like. So when I click on proceed to checkout now, you're going to see how it looks, my new checkout. You are going to see that it's going to take effect. So you can now see that when I click on proceed checkout and it brought me to this particular one with my the new design actually. So you can see how I've been able to fix that in case you actually have the same error I'm actually having. But always take note whenever you're doing this, always make sure you use the right page. Just make sure you don't have like duplicate pages where you have, so that it doesn't confuse you. Or if you're actually not confused, if you're actually confused, you can just check on the title here. You are going to see which particular page is actually for what. So you just make sure you do that. So I believe you might have learned something new in, or this video might have been helpful for you. In case you're just still watching this video and you've not yet considered subscribing, please ensure you click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified each time I upload new video. So this is where I'm going to stop for this particular tutorial. Until next time, bye for now.